my story with you all first. And I can see most of you, or I can see several of you right here in front of me right now. So have any of you heard my story before? Is this going to be a repeat for anybody? Were you at conference last year or heard my story on YouTube? Okay. All right. A couple of you have. All right. And many of you have not. So I will go ahead and give a brief synopsis of my story, which will, and the reason for this is because my story, or the one that I'm going to share with you today, leads right into why I feel like affirmations and a positive mindset are so very important for all of us. So in a nutshell, I'll give you my Pampered Chef story. So I started my Pampered Chef business about 18 years ago as a way to hopefully try to stay home with my kids. I had 3 daughters at the time, and when I jumped on board with Pampered Chef, I was at home on maternity leave with my 3rd daughter. So 3 girls under the age of 5. And I went to a Pampered Chef party one Friday night down the street at my neighbor's house. She was having a wine, cheese, and chocolate party. And of course, I just said I had 3 daughters under the age of 5 at the time. So I went down the street for my mommy's night out to my friend's house, and sat and loved everything. I had seen Pampered Chef stuff. I used to be a paralegal, and catalogs got passed around the office and what have you. So I had some things, but I don't know that I'd ever or had been to an actual live party in years. So here I sat at this party having a great time. Our budget was like this big because, of course, we had 3 kids under the age of 5, and I was on maternity leave. So I bought like the one thing that I could buy, and was just hanging out. I did not run right home after the party was over, of course, because it wasn't yet bedtime, and I was not going to go home that night if it was not bedtime yet, because that was my one night out, out of the house. So I hung out with my friend on the couch, sipping some wine and whatever, and she was chatting with the Pampered Chef lady, and she just happened to ask her how much money she made from that party. And the Pampered Chef lady was like, yeah, hang on, I'll just add it up real fast. And she's like, yeah, I made about $125 so far. And I sat there on the couch thinking, $125. We've been here for like an hour and a half, right? Not bad at all. So my wheels started spinning right there. So my intention was that I thought I would jump on board with Pampered Chef and work it for a couple of months and try to extend my maternity leave, or maybe make it to like where my oldest got back into school and daycare cost wasn't going to be as much, whatever. So I jumped on board, did a few parties. At the end of about 2 or 3 weeks, my first paycheck came in, and it was like a $600 paycheck. And I was so excited because that was like real live cash in my pocket with no daycare costs. So I just kept going. So 2 shows a week is about all I've ever done in my 18 years. And within about 6 months, I was a director with Pampered Chef. And with about 6 months after that, I was able to make our mortgage payment. So things were going really well. So I just kept going. About 3 years into my Pampered Chef business, my family and I were taking a trip to Montana from here in our home state of Washington. We were going to visit some friends over the Thanksgiving holiday, and our car hit some black ice, and we got into a nasty old car accident. Our car rolled several times to the other side of the freeway. It was just really a mess. And sadly, my husband was instantly killed in that car accident.
Oh my God.
So, I know, tragic. Not something anybody would ever foresee in their life. My girls were all in their car seat restraints, and so they were all securely held in. They got some minor, cuts and bruises and what have you. My hand went through the windshield, and hit my head pretty hard, and I was in and out of consciousness for a while. And we just prayed through the time we were waiting for the ambulances to come to kind of remove us from that situation and to get us taken care of. And by later on that afternoon, when I was at the hospital recovering, it finally hit me that I was a 31-year-old widow with 3 daughters, ages 10, 7, and 4. Something no one ever expects to happen. Thankfully, this was about 3 years into my Pampered Chef business, and I was a director, like I said before, and making enough money that we could survive on my Pampered Chef income. So I did not have to go back to my full-time job even after this accident happened, which was a blessing because I had back surgery about a year after the accident happened. And my girls and I were all in post-traumatic stress counseling, and there's lots of appointments and doctor's appointments and things like that. So it was really crucial at that time in my life that I could have the flexibility that my Pampered Chef business provided for me, and the income to stay home with my own kids and to keep raising them and do the things that I wanted to do. So for the bulk of my girls' growing up years, I was a single mom raising my own kids, running my own business, doing the things that most of us would love to do with life. I was a soccer coach, and I was a homeroom mom, and I went on every field trip and all the youth group events that we went to, and I mean, just all the things that was, the dream that people want to have. They want to raise their own children and provide their own income, and I was able to do that for my girls' growing up years. So here I am, 18 years later. I've remarried to this wonderfully sweet man who is right behind me right now. I should show you, but I told him that he had to be quiet if he's in the office right now because I'm on this call. He promises to be very nice and quiet. Yeah, they're like, I want to see him. Come on, honey. Go say hi. Here he is.
Hi.
There he is. I love it. So God bless him. He's a sweet man. My girls are now 25, 22, and 20 years old. And they are good. My oldest is married with my almost 3-year-old grandson, and my middle daughter's in her senior year of college, and my youngest is in her second year of college, and life is good. So what I like to share about this story, you guys, is people often ask me, well, how on earth does someone come through something as horrific as what you've been through in your life and still have a positive mentality or positive mindset? And what I love to share is 2 things. One, I'm just a firm believer in God, and I just know that he would never give any of us anything more than we can handle, and there's a reason for everything. So that's my first thing. My second thing is that, as I said before, this is going to segue into our second kind of topic today, and that is this belief of a positive mindset. And I honestly believe that all of us, I mean, we all know this, everybody has their own cred, right? I mean, everybody's life has something in it. And I'm a firm believer of it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to that. And all of us have a choice in everything, every day, every week, every year, how to respond to life and the stuff that gets thrown at us and the things that we want to do to create the life that we want to have. So positive affirmations, a positive mindset, and a good mental health, I think are really, really important for all of us. And so that leads us right into kind of my journey with positive affirmations and a positive mindset and creating the life that I want to live. 18 years later, into my Pampered Chef journey and all the stuff that's happened, I can honestly say to you that it has been a lovely, wonderful journey. My girls were raised with me doing Pampered Chef as our sole source of income. And over their growing up years, they went, incentive trips, right? I've earned 18 incentive trips in 18 years. My girls have gone to Hawaii and Walt Disney World and Disneyland and the Bahamas and Mexico and all these places. And what I like to share with people is, who gets to do that? What single moms do you know that get to take their kids on vacations like that, right? That's just not reality for most people. So you get to choose. What do you want to do? What kind of lifestyle do you want to live? What goals do you have for yourself this year? So let's talk about the positive affirmations and the positive mindset. So I went on this journey several years ago to find out how to I wanted to be an educated person on like this whole positive affirmations thing. I'd heard lots of stuff about it, and I just wanted to learn more about how it could really work for us. So I read several books, and I studied, and I learned a bunch of stuff. I started doing positive affirmations years ago, and then a couple years into my educational journey, I found out I was doing them completely wrong. So I'll give you a couple examples of how I did them wrong and right, and kind of I'll give you some numbers and some stats, what happened with me and some friends of mine as a result of positive affirmations and reading positive books and leading a positive mindset lifestyle. So the way to do them wrong, if you're trying to do positive affirmations and you're trying to get your mind straight on the things that you want to do, the way to do them wrong is just to write some words down and then think it's going to work. So things like, I will lose 50 pounds this year. Okay, that's great. That's a great statement, but your brain does not grab a hold of that mentality. It doesn't go anywhere with that. So writing positive affirmations needs to be in such a way that your body believes it to be true. Your brain can grab a hold of a concrete idea, maybe a visual, and a time set. You have to know if you're getting there or not, or if you've gotten there or not. So setting dates to your positive affirmations are super important, and having it something that you really believe that it can be true. So even if it's a big, hairy, scary, lofty affirmation that you have, you still want to like maybe get the hairs on your arm to stand up a little bit, or for you to think, oh God, that really, like something in your being has to like get ignited. So you're moving forward toward it. Okay. So let me give you some examples of kind of how my journey started. So I read several books, like I said before. Train Your Brain by Dana Wilde is a great book. And she also has a set of audios that you can purchase. And I did. I read her book and then I purchased her audios and I listened to them. And that's incredible stuff. She's a great speaker on this topic. I think John Gordon, any of his books are amazing. He has a lot of positive affirmations and a positive mindset and a positive outlook on life. So he's a great author also. And then, of course, probably the biggest book that I have read that I'm rereading right now again that changed my life completely is The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. So in reading all those books and doing all those things, here's what I found out. So in about, I think it was 2015 is when I really locked onto the positive affirmations and the positive mindset and creating the lifestyle that you want to live. And I started writing affirmations that were very specific and impactful for me. So one of mine in 2015 was that I wanted to personally recruit 30 new people in that calendar year. And the reason why I set this goal for myself is because I had been a senior director for 8 years probably, I think. And I was completely satisfied with that. My paychecks were fine. I was, making all my bills. I was doing everything great. However, I knew that there was more on the table for me. And I always say, if there's cash on the table, why are we not going for it, right? So I knew there was more. I knew I was capable of more. And I thought, you know what? What I need to do is I need to recruit a bunch of new people to my own personal team so that then there's newbies that I can work with and we can grow to a bigger organization and try to get to the exec status. But first I needed to recruit enough people to make my team big enough. So that was my number one goal. I wanted to recruit 30 people in 1 year. So I wrote my affirmations in December. And so some of my affirmations were, I recruit new people with a passion. I regularly add a minimum of 3 new team members to my team. So that's one of my affirmations. One of my other affirmations that year was, it is December 24th. I think it was 2015, maybe it's 2016. I think it's 2015. Anyway, it's December 24th, and I am happily and contentedly sitting in my living room, looking at my Christmas tree with my glass of wine in my hand, and I am so satisfied that I personally recruited 30 new people this year. Okay. Do you guys see the difference between I will lose 50 pounds this year and it is December 24th and I'm contentedly and happily sitting on my couch with my glass of wine, and I am so confidently proud of myself, or whatever the words were, that I personally recruited 30 new people. I could see it. I could feel it. I knew what it was going to feel like to sit there on Christmas Eve with my glass of wine in my hand and be so proud of myself that I did it. I did it. I recruited 30 new people myself, right? So this visual was locked in my brain. And the reason I did that, you guys, is because I didn't want it to be December 31st and me scrambling, trying to recruit those last few people to get my goal. I wanted it to be well before Christmas. I just wanted it to be done. I wanted to be sitting there just so happy and content that it was done. So I wrote 6 affirmations that year. Those were 2 of them, the 3 recruits a month and then the 30 in the year. And what I learned is that it's very important for you to read the affirmations to yourself many times every day. But most specifically, read them out loud at least twice a day to yourself. There's something about your own voice saying these words out loud and your brain hearing it. So I had my affirmations that year posted all over my house, but the 2 most important places were right in front of my computer monitor. So as I sit and do my work, whatever, I can read them to myself or read them out loud. And then I posted them on my bathroom mirror. And the reason I did that is because I knew that twice a day, at least, I'd be in my bathroom, brushing my teeth, washing my face, put my makeup on, and I could read those out loud to myself in my bathroom every day, right? So post them somewhere where you can see them and you can read them to yourself, and it's you'll see results immediately. So what started to happen as soon as I wrote those affirmations, here it is. It was, January, I recruited 4 new people. February, 5 people. March, 3 people. You guys, I never recruited like that before. I was regularly like a 1, maybe some, maybe 2, maybe none, but whatever, but never, it was never month after month after month, all these recruits coming in. So month after month, all of a sudden, boom, 3 new people, 4 new people, 5 new people, 3 new people. It just kept happening over and over again. So I get this call from one of my sister directors, and she had seen my recruiting numbers. And she's like, okay, what's going on? What the heck? I know you. This is not normal for you. What are you doing, right? So I'm like, this whole thing, I'm reading these affirmations. I'm just telling myself that it's true. I'm totally focused every day on that's what it is. And she's like, okay, tell me how to do it. So we sat and we wrote up her affirmations, and hers were the same. She wanted to recruit 3 new people a month. And she had, I think her team was at like a total of 9 people at that point in time. She had never recruited like before that. So this is about March, and she started doing the affirmations with me. And guess what happened? 3 new recruits, 4 new recruits, 3 new recruits. They just started happening with her too. So both of us were on the same journey this year. So then another girlfriend calls me and is like, okay, what's the deal? I heard about this affirmations thing. I see your numbers. What's happening? So we got her affirmations written, and she started doing it. Long story short, you guys, by the end of that year, all of us had done our goal. It was at least 3 every single month, all year long. Insane, right? So the one girl that originally started, about 2 months into it, she wrote me this note, and I had it somewhere and I lost it. But anyhow, basically her quote was something along the lines of, this is insanity. I don't know what kind of, voodoo that we're doing and why it's working. And she's like, but it's like the recruits are just falling from the sky. It's like they're just falling into my lap. I'm not even trying. Of course, she really was trying, right? I mean, we all know that there's actions that have to follow too. But what happens is your brain gets so focused on where it is you're going. And when your head is full of the stuff you want it to hear, not the other stuff that we don't want it to hear, all of a sudden your actions just start following suit. And it just starts to work for you. And here's why. Think about some of the things that you tell yourself all day, every day. Anybody have any ideas of some of the stuff that goes through your own head? I'm sure you probably don't want to say it out loud, right? I see some looks on some faces right there. It's generally not real positive stuff that we tell ourselves, right? Especially women. I don't know why that is, but the things that just automatically come to our own brains tend to be negative, not working for us kind of thoughts. Like I distinctly remember before I trained my brain to think positively, even my very first thoughts of the day, like the first thing when I wake up, I remember thinking, I don't know what some of my thoughts were. Oh crap, what did I eat yesterday that I shouldn't have eaten? Like the first, right? Like you wake up and boom, you just start thinking about all this stuff that I shouldn't have yelled at my kids like that yesterday. Crap, whatever. All the stuff that just starts to bombard our heads, that is the stuff that we perhaps don't even want to be focusing on. Well, if you are one whose thoughts are generally going that direction, so let's just say your biggest struggle right now is bookings. Let's just say you don't have enough bookings, right? So what do you think your brain normally hears in a situation when you don't have enough bookings? I'm going to guess that it goes something like this. You're probably hearing something like, crap, I've got to get some more bookings. Oh, no, how am I going to get those bookings? I need to get bookings. Okay, what bookings? I got to get booking, right? So your brain is hearing not enough bookings, not enough bookings, not right? That's all it's hearing. So if this is repeating in your head all day, week in, week out, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to be stuck there with not enough bookings because that's all you're hearing in your head. So instead, the way that you can empower yourself to grow positively is stop those thoughts. So I have a dear friend who she and her husband both have been on this positive affirmation and in a positive mindset journey also. And they use it for every aspect of their life, from their parenting to better marriage, to weight loss, to just being happier human beings. And what her husband started doing, which I love this tactic, is every time he starts to get a negative thought in his head, his word is cancel. So if he starts to hear himself saying something negative or something that's not positive thinking, he just goes, oh, cancel, cancel. And he replaces that thought with something positively mindseted. All right. So it's going to be something like, whatever, I don't know, whatever comes into his head that he does not want to be thinking, he'll just go, nope, cancel that thought. And he'll replace it with one of his positive mindset words or affirmations that's growing to the person he wants to become. And they have done great things just by doing this between the two of them. Their finances are on track between the two of them. Their marriage is stronger and healthier than it's ever been. They have little kids at home and they're doing a great job parenting. But it's just this whole mindset about how to get yourself where you want to go, not where you don't want to be. All right. So back to my testimony about what happened in 2015. So those affirmations were written, you guys. I read them every day out loud to myself. I read them quietly to myself, and I kept moving forward. So what happened was Christmas Eve came, and guess what? There I was on my couch. Christmas tree was all lit up and twinkling, and I had my glass of wine, and it happened, you guys. 30 new teammates personally. I recruited 30 new teammates myself. I can honestly tell you that I've never done that in my career, and the only reason that that happened is because I wrote it down, I said it to myself, and I believed it. I really believed it could come true. So yes, there were other actions that followed with it, but the biggest thing was I made up my mind. I knew where I wanted to go, and I set my focus on staying there all year long. Then I decided that because I was going to be on this journey, I signed up for the LEAD program, right? So I got an opportunity to do that. So I jumped on board, even though it was scarier than crud. I jumped on board and I did it. I signed up for coaching with my director and with my executive director. I asked them both to coach with me so I could stay focused on this goal that I had in mind. Do whatever you need to do to keep your actions moving forward to the goals that you want. It's up to you. If you don't do it, no one's going to do it for you, right? So your choice is that you can either go toward the goals that you want to have, or you can stay paralyzed, frozen, and immobile where you're at right now because you're afraid to go toward the things you want to have. Does that make sense? None of us want to be paralyzed and stuck right where we're at right now. We all want to go for whatever it is we want to do. All right, so here's a little bit more testimony. The next year, I wrote some more affirmations because, of course, then I had this new team of people. So I was still at a senior director level, and so what I decided the next year was that I wanted to promote directors within my own team so that we could go from a senior director team to an executive director team. So my affirmations were written in that vein also. It was that I will promote 4 new first-generation directors. Okay, again, this was a scary big goal. In all of my Pampered Chef years, I had never promoted more than 1 director in my organization in a year, ever. And here it was, I was wanting to do 4 of my own. So we started 2016 with 7 total director teams. I think I had 3 in my first gen. I think we had 3 in the second gen and 1 third gen director at the beginning of the year. My affirmations were that I was going to promote those 4 first gen and at least 2 second gen directors that year so that we could go from senior director team to executive director team. And then, of course, within my affirmations, I also had some others. I still wanted to recruit 3 new team members personally myself each month, and some other things that were written in my affirmations also. But what happened was by the end of 2016, we had gone from 7 director teams to 17 director teams, 10 new director promotions. We had 7 first gen, 7 second gen. I think we had 3 third gen by the time the year ended. Crazy, you guys. It was just crazy. So proof is in the pudding, right? It was there. 2 years in a row, affirmations were written. My mindset was there. It was locked in where I wanted to go. I was reading them out loud to myself every single day, and my actions were following. I was doing the work. But the best part, you guys, is that it wasn't just about business. It was about everything. I became a happier person in this process of doing this whole thing. Other areas of my life became just more fluid and content because I was happy. I was just doing, I was doing the things I wanted to do. You know how you feel when you know you should be doing stuff, but you're not? And you sort of like, there's my husband's phone. That feeling, that feeling that you get where you're like, okay, either you should eat better, but you just don't, right? The holidays come and go and you're like, crap, I'm full of cheese and wine. I ate way too much, right? We all know that feeling. Or you should exercise your body, but you just don't. All those kind of feelings, okay, when you're stuck there, it doesn't feel good, right? If you do the right things, you feel really good. You feel proud of yourself because you're doing the things that you should be doing day in and day out, and you're feeling proud of yourself. That's what happens when you go on this positive mindset journey. All of a sudden, you do the things that you want to be doing, and you feel a happier human being just as a result of it all. So what I like to encourage you is whatever it is in your life you want. It doesn't have to be about your business. I mean, I'm sure Melody wants it to be about your business because we all want to have better business, right? So it can be about your business, but your affirmations, your positive mindset can also be about your health. Let's say you want to be a fitter person in 2018, a healthier person. Great, do that. You want to be a better parent. Great, fantastic. Go for that. A better marriage, a better spiritual walk, whatever it is that you want it to be, write those into your affirmations. Decide that's the person you want to become and start taking the steps toward becoming that person. So what I want to share with you today is we're at the very beginning of January. Now is the time. Take a moment, treat yourself to a moment to stop and ponder. What do I want? Where am I going? What kind of lifestyle do I want to live? What kind of legacy do I want to leave for my children? What kind of mom do I want them to see me be, right? Years come and years go, and it's up to us to stop and decide, what do we want for ourselves and where are we going in this grand spectrum of things? When you do that, you can decide right now. You can decide, let's say one of your goals is that you want to be on the beach of Hawaii in 2019 when we travel there with Pampered Chef, right? Maybe Oahu is calling your name, right? And you decide today, yep, I'm going for it, man. I've never earned a trip before, but I am totally going for it. I'm ready. I'm excited. My husband's gonna be thrilled. I mean, whatever it is that you see yourself sitting in there with your toes in the sand and your Mai Tai in your hand and your kids running around splashing in the water, or whatever it is that's gonna set your soul on fire, decide that right now. Take a moment to visualize it, picture what it's gonna look like for yourself, and then take some steps toward creating that destiny for yourself. All of us have the capability to create the life we love. Love, day in, day out, week in, week out, months go by, years go by, and we love our lives. A couple of steps that you should take right now. First, picture it. Picture what you want. If it's the trip, if it's a bigger paycheck this year, if it's a new title, a director, advanced director, senior director, executive director, if it's a new car, if it's a new house, if it's a retirement fund or paying for your kids' college. I don't know what it is for you all on the other side of that screen, but I know you can get it. I know you can do this. I've seen so many people achieve the big, beautiful dreams that they have for themselves, and they go for it. So decide today, visualize what it is that you want, and then write it down. Take some time to actually jot down the things that you want out of your life. And then I'm going to challenge you. There's a couple of key things that you should do. Affirmations. They're huge. They're important. It's really good stuff, you guys. If you can get your head locked around a couple good, solid affirmations, it's going to keep your mind focused on the things that you want, and it's going to help you drive yourself towards your dreams. The second thing is a visualization board. Has anybody ever done a visualization board? Do you have like a dream board or a goal board? A couple people do. Good. Okay. So I'm in my office right now, you guys, which is just a bedroom in our house that my husband and I share for an office. But I'm going to share my vision boards with you because they're hanging up here on my wall. So I'm going to scroll over here so you guys can see that. All right. So I've got two right there hanging up in my office, and they're right next to me where I can see them day in and day out. And they've got just some general ideas of just some stuff that I want in my life. So the one that is more recent just has, things on it like there's a buffalo on there that says break from the herd. And if you've ever read Rory Vaden's book, you're going to know what that means. But it's basically about creating the lifestyle you want and not being afraid to run toward the storm, toward whatever it is that scares you the most. So I've got that on there. I've got imagine the possibilities. I've got a beach scene on there. I've got an island scene on there because we just bought a lake house. That was one of my big dreams that I wanted for years and years. And that's been on my board forever, you guys. Get this. So a lake house has been on my dream board for years, like 5 or 8 years. I've always wanted to own a lake house. And it's been on my visualization board. Well, guess what? This summer, my husband and I bought a lake house, right? It's been on the board. It's been a goal of mine for a long, long time, and it never went away, and it finally came true. So what is it? What is it you're dreaming about, you guys? Create a vision board, write yourself some affirmations, get your brain locked into the positive, happy, good stuff that you want for yourself and your family and your life, and start taking those steps today toward growing toward them, because you can do it. I promise you can. All right. Can I answer any questions for anybody? Anything I can share with you all? Anything I didn't clarify? And look, I didn't have to blow my nose, you guys. This was so great.
Do you have any questions at all?
What were those books again?
What were the books? Can you repeat the books for us?
Certainly. Yep. So the first one is Train Your Brain by Dana Wilde. And then I mentioned John Gordon. He's got several books, and his books are all real short, like couple-hour read, and they're done, but they're really positive. Rory Vaden is another good one. I don't think I mentioned him, but he's, Take the Stairs guy and Procrastinate on Purpose, and he's great. So Rory Vaden is a good one. But probably my number one book that I recommend to everybody, like I said, I'm rereading it myself right now, is The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod.
It's so good.
And the reason that one is so important, you guys, is because it's kind of a lifestyle changer, if you will. And what he encourages is that you do several of the things that I talked about today. He talks about visualization and vision boards. He talks about affirmations. He talks about meditation or prayer or being quiet. That I call it prayer. I pray, but whatever it is that gets your brain focused and calm for a minute. He also talks about other stuff that's really important to me. And this daily stuff that you do, and that's nourishment, hydration, and exercise. And I think all of those things go all together with this lifestyle that you want to create for yourself and really helping your brain do what it needs to do. And all those things come into play. So The Miracle Morning is an excellent book.
Anyone else have anything?
So what made you really want to start to look into positive affirmations more? What got you going on that?
Okay. Yeah. So for me, you guys, I think naturally I've always been a fairly positive person. I mean, even with life's crud that, gets thrown at me or had gotten thrown at me. However, the real journey for me started when I wanted to grow quicker in areas of my life and my business. So my affirmations are always probably 90% business, but then I have a couple personal ones in there too. So like right now, let me see, I'll just pull this off. I've got my affirmations right now from last year. I'm a little behind the game. I haven't written 2018s yet, but like mine are, that I excitedly and consistently hold 8 shows a month. I add 3 new team members a month. And then my last one on here is that, here's my affirmation. I'm here to serve, not to be served. I inspire community in all aspects of my life by setting a positive and faith-filled example to my entire organization. So, you read that to yourself every day, a couple times a day, and your brain hears that, and it really helps keep you focused on who you want to be, the human you want to be, the person you want to be, and the legacy that you want to leave behind for yourself or for your family or for your team or whatever it is that you want. So for me, it was just all about creating a better life, and that's kind of what got me started on this journey.
Awesome.
Any other questions I can answer?
Anyone else have something again?
You're amazing.
We appreciate it so much.
You're so welcome, you guys. Thanks for having me. I'm so impressed that you're all there on a Sunday evening. You guys are awesome teammates. Rock on, girls.
Rock.
Yeah, you do. Melody, how are you feeling?
I am doing okay.
Good.
I'm sitting here in my sling with my leg brace up, and
How does she look, you guys? Are y'all taking care of her?
so you can see me.
Oh, my girl. Yeesh Louise, girlfriend.
Yeah,
So,
I can't tell. Oh, there we go.
the positive affirmations, it's hard, but
Aw.
we're doing it, so.
Good for you. Do you want to hear a funny story, Melody?
Yes.
So I have a cold now, but about a week ago I got the stomach flu. Right? Okay. So
Yeah.
it went from my grandson to my daughter, to my other daughter, and then finally to me. So here I am, puking my guts up for 7 hours straight, right? And literally I'm laying there on my bathroom floor, hugging my toilet bowl, and a positive affirmation comes to my head, or positive mindset. I'm like, well, thank the Lord that this isn't 3 weeks from now, because my husband and I are leaving to go visit his niece in Hawaii next week. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus, that it is not Hawaii Day today and I'm throwing up all over the place. So, you got to look at the positive in every situation, right?
That's exactly right.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you so
You are so welcome. You guys have a great meeting. I'll see you all soon, yeah?
All right. Thank you, dear.
Okay. Take care. Bye.
I will stop the recording here. I'll hold it. Okay. End meeting, which will stop the recording. End meeting for all.